Nice, shalom, shalom. I'm going to start off this video by giving all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakak, Wadash, double honors to the apostles and the elder bishops, a great millstone that rule well, that teach well, while I learn the truth 100% according to the Bible. I also want to say shalom to the elect, the 144,000 men, prophet servants, scattered abroad the four corners of the earth, and shalom to you sincere Aqua, for you sisters that are sincere and your children, shalom. And in today's video, as you can see, is going to be another video touching on what just basically took place. You know, the U.S. launches an attack against Iran. So allegedly, or it had happened, you know, the United States then basically just attacked 3 Iranian nuclear facilities, man, with the B-2 stealth bombers that they sent over there not too long ago. So we're about to see everything intensify, man. But we know ultimately before it can go nuclear that the MOTB has to be made mandatory. So I'm going to actually get this scripture right here. This is St. Matthew chapter 24, verse 6. In the KJV, it says, "And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet." And we know the end won't happen until that Mot B is made mandatory, man. Now, when that comes and that hits the scene, then we know that the nuclear destruction will be nearby, right? Once that hits the scene. But until that comes, man, then we know that, it's going to continue to amp up, of course, but it's not going to be the real deal like the nuclear holocaust that's coming for this world, man, until that chip is made mandated. Right. But still, everything is speeding up, man. You know, Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shah is putting it on these devils' minds to ultimately to war with one another, man. You know, and I'm going to go to this precept right here that I got. Right. Because this is the time and season that we're in, man. You know, and it's getting real intense out here, man. You know, Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shah is speeding up time for the elect's sake. So that's why you see a lot of these different prophecies starting to speed up, man. That's why we know that MOTB CHIP is around the corner, man. Is coming. You know, this is Ecclesiastes chapter 3. I'm going to start at verse 1. "To everything there is a season and a time to every purpose under the heavens," right? And verse 2, "A time to be born and a time to die, a time to plant and a time to pluck up that which is planted." Verse 3, "A time to kill and a time to heal, a time to break down and a time to build up." Verse 4, "A time to weep and a time to laugh, a time to mourn and a time to dance," right? Verse 5, "A time to cast away stones and a time to gather stones together, a time to embrace and a time to refrain from embracing." Verse 6, "A time to get and a time to lose, a time to keep and a time to cast away." Verse 7, "A time to rend and a time to sow, a time to keep silence and a time to speak." Verse 8, this is the point. "A time to love and a time to hate, a time of war and a time of peace." And that's the time that we're in, brothers and sisters. That's the season that Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai is allowing to manifest upon the earth, that we're in that time of war. That's why you about to see all of these conflicts that are ultimately happening. They're about to get more intense, man, and spiral more and more out of control as time progresses, man, because this is all being orchestrated by Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai, man, to bring forth judgment upon these heathens, man. So, you know, the Lord is ultimately, stirring all of these things up. Right, as it tells you in Proverbs 21:1, you know, the king's heart, meaning his mind, is in the hands of the Lord. As the rivers of water, he turneth it whithersoever he will. So the Lord is turning these devils' minds and, putting it on these nations' heart to ultimately the war and to prepare for war, man, because they're ultimately about to be all dragged down there to the valley of Jehoshaphat in that Middle East, man. Right. And that's what we see ultimately coming into fruition. Right. So I'm going to go to that precept as well. Right. This is Joel chapter 3. And I'm going to start at verse 2, right? KJV, it said, "I will also gather all nations," right? Talking about these heathen nations, "and will bring them down into the valley of Jehoshaphat," which in the Hebrew means Yahweh Shaphat, where the Lord is going to judge these nations, right? "And will plead with them there for my people and for my heritage, Israel, whom they have scattered among the nations and parted my land," right? And I'm going to move down to verse 9. And it says, "Proclaim ye this among the Gentiles, prepare war," which is what you see these nations ultimately doing. They're preparing for war. And we know that this situation is going to get way worse, especially with America jumping in. We know ultimately all of this stuff is going to lead up to these prophecies happening. It tells you also, and I'm going to go to that precept, and we're going to jump back in the spirit. This is Jeremiah chapter 50, and I'm going to read verse 45, right? And it says, "Therefore hear ye the counsel of the Lord, Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai, that he have taken against Babylon, and his proposals that he have proposed against the land of the Chaldeans. Surely the least of the flock," right? Talking about those Amalekites over there, right? Those Israelis shall draw them out, right? Who they're going to draw out? America, right? As you can see, America's getting more and more involved in this conflict, man, right? And it says, surely he shall make their habitation desolate with them, because this is what's going to stem from World War III, man. America is going to be destroyed, man, by thermonuclear missiles. That's what's coming, right? And we're getting closer and closer to that day. As each day progresses, the more we're getting faster to that approaching, man, you know? So I'm going to go back to where I was. This is Joel chapter 3, verse 9. Proclaim ye this among the Gentiles, prepare war. Wake up the mighty men, let all the men of war draw near, let them come up. And that's what Yahweh Shem Yahushua is going to do. He's going to put it in the hearts of these leaders' minds to gather all their militaries up and to come down there to the Middle East, right? Verse 10, beat your plowshares into swords and your pruning hooks into spears. Let the weak say I am strong, man. And that goes into Iran and all of these other different nations, man. You think it ain't going to be no retaliation for what the U.S. just done? Right? You already had Russia come out maybe about 2-3 days ago. They warned the United States saying that if you get involved in Israel and Iran's conflict, there's going to be nuclear chaos, man. They literally just said that. And we know ultimately it's going to happen, man. In the near future, these things will manifest. Right? So it says, let the weak say I am strong, right? That's going into, Iran and all of these other different countries that at once upon a time, they wasn't in possession of nuclear capabilities. Now they have these things, right, due to Russia, which is that guard unto these nations that's giving them the technology and all of the different types of things in which it is that they need to be able to develop these atomic weapons, right? So it says, verse 11, assemble yourselves, right, and come all ye heathen, and gather yourselves together round about thither. Cause thy mighty ones to come down, O Lord, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushua. Verse 12, let the heathen be wakened and come up to the valley of Jehoshaphat. For there will I sit to judge all the heathen round about. And that's what the Lord is going to do, man. He's going to use World War III as the catalyst to judge all of these heathen nations, man, for what they have done unto his people, man. So this is the time and season that we're living in, so we know it's only a matter of time before that MOTB is about to hit the scene, man, because what's going on over there in that Middle East is what's about to turn up everything in this world, man. And that's what a lot of these people don't understand, So I'm going to go to another precept in which it is that I have, right? This is Revelations chapter 11, and I'm going to get straight to the point. Verse 14, right? It said, the second woe is past, and behold, the third woe cometh quickly, man. And that's talking about World War III, that battle of Armageddon, man, right? That's what's coming, and it's coming quickly. So I'm going to get into this video so we can basically listen to the update of what it is the guy's saying. But, yeah, you just had America just attacked Iran, man. So, that's going to increase the tensions more and more than they're already at right now, because there is a lot of division going on amongst these nations. Now, America doing that is just going to make these countries and nations hate this place even more, man. Like I said, everything that Trump is doing, Nero in the reincarnation, is leading up to the destruction of this place, America, man. Every move that he's making is being orchestrated by Yahweh Shem Yahushua to bring judgment upon this place, man. Right? So I'm going to get into the video. Fair use on 1976 Copyright Act.
President of the United States that there has been an attack inside Iran. Just moments ago, President Donald Trump putting out on Truth Social, we have completed our very successful attack on 3 nuclear sites in Iran, including Fordo, Natanz, and Esfahan. All planes are now outside of Iran airspace. Again, this from President Donald Trump. A full payload of bombs was dropped on the primary site, Fordo. All planes are safely on their way home. Congratulations to our great American warriors. There is not another military in the world that could have done this. Now is the time.
Right. You hear the pride of this man. I'm telling you, Donald Trump is going to lead this country to his destruction, man. He's that cruel Lord, As it tells you, pride goeth before destruction and a haughty spirit before a fall, man. This place, America, is about to fall, man. And it's about to fall tremendously, man. Like it's going to be a fall of the century, man, when this place really gets destroyed, man. Because these Edomites feel like this place cannot be touched. That's why the Lord is preserving it for these times, man. Because this place, America, will fall, man. Ain't no stopping it. It's going to happen. Donald Trump can't stop it. Nobody can stop it. Not these little hats. Nobody, man. This place is destined for destruction, man. Right. And this man is, making it come quicker, man, which is a blessing. The water to Yahweh Shem Yahushua, man. Because that means we're getting closer and closer to getting the hell up out of here,
For peace. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Again, that's just seconds ago from President Donald Trump on Truth Social, suggesting that those B-2 bombers that perhaps were on the way may have been behind this. We'll get more details on these 3 sites that the president said has been attacked inside Iran. This comes after days of negotiations to try to get Iran to the negotiating table. The president of the United States saying it would have to be unconditional surrender, saying enrichment would have to stop. We heard from
right, and you hear what they saying, like, see, that's the spirit Trump is in right now. He keep trying to bring peace and all of these different types of things, but the Lord, Yahweh Shem Yahushua, is not bringing peace, man. The Lord said in Matthew 10:34, think not that I am come to send peace on earth. I came not to send peace, but a sword, man. Represent division, you nations being at odds and having, disdain for one another. The Lord is doing all that, man, because he's about to bring forth all of this chaos and judgment, so there's not going to be anything that is going to stop these events from taking place. Not Trump trying to work out a peace deal and a negotiation. None of that is going to happen, man. Right. And that's in the scriptures as well. It tells you when they shall say peace and safety, then sudden destruction cometh upon them, man. And that's all you've been hearing this man speak about since he came in our office, man, is peace and peace and peace and world peace. And that's not coming, man. What's coming is sudden destruction, man.
Negotiations in Europe, that was not being accepted by the Iranians, that they would not stop enriching uranium. There was a thought that this could go as long as 2 weeks, as the president said he would decide within 2 weeks. However, 2 days is within 2 weeks. And now word from President Donald Trump that these attacks have happened. Again, interesting that 3 sites have been struck by U.S. bombers, and this, again, we'll get more information about the
and we hear what it is the guy's basically saying, brothers and sisters, and I'm going to actually go to this article, right, in which it is that I had, and I'm going to get back into the video, but I got to show this article, right, because we know that, like I said, this is about to bring Ezekiel 38 into play, man, because, Russia is going to be that guard, man, that protector to Iran, man. They're not going to just allow the U.S. to do what it is that they have done and thinking there's not going to be consequences, man. But like I said, before it get real critical, that chip has to come, man. So we know that chip is on the verge of being mandated, man. It's only a matter of time, So let me get this article real quick. Bear with me. Right. And I'm going to actually show a few articles in which it is that I have. Right. It said China warns world will not be at peace if Middle East is unstable, man. So here it is. You got China jumping in the picture, and they're going to be on the side with Russia and Iran and all of these other nations that it tells you about in Ezekiel 38 that are all going to band together. The Persians, the Ethiopians, Turkey, all of these different nations, the Arab nations, they're all going to gang up to go up against America and Israel, man. This is what ultimately is coming into fruition. This is what Yahweh Shem Yahushua is ultimately bringing to the forefront. Right. So I'm going to get to this other article. It said the U.S. will be at war in the Middle East by the end of the week. Right. And this was 21 hours ago. And it's hilarious that, Donald Trump just attacked him. So, things are finna get out of control very soon. Right. So I'm actually go to another article that I have, of the one in which it is that Russia basically, threatened America, man, telling them that, if they get involved in this situation, that there's going to be consequences. And we know it's going to happen. And I'm going to actually go to a precept just to prove that, right? I'm going to go to Ezekiel 38, all right? Get a few precepts out of there, right? Here it is. It said Russia warns the United States against military intervention in Iran and Israel war, man. Right. Russia tells Israel to halt Iran strikes, warning of nuclear catastrophe. Right. Nuclear chaos, man. Nuclear destruction. That's basically what Putin is telling America and Israel, that if they continue to keep advancing and pushing with this war, that is going to result in destruction. And that's exactly what this war is going to result in, man. Nuclear holocaust, man, because that's what's coming. Right. So I'm going to go to this precept that I got. Right. Bear with me. This is Ezekiel chapter 38, and I'm going to start at verse 1, right, in the KJV, and it says, and the word of the Lord, Yahweh Shem Yahushua, came unto me, saying, Son of man, set thy face against Gog and the land of Magog, the chief prince of Meshech and Tubal, and prophesy against him, right? Talking about Russia, man. And say, thus saith the Lord power, behold, I am against thee, O Gog, the chief prince of Meshech and Tubal, right? Verse 4. And I will turn thee back and put hooks into thy jaws, right? And I will bring thee forth and all thine army. That's the Lord basically signifying that he's going to pull Russia all the way from their country and bring them also to the valley of Jehoshaphat. Because you got to realize that the Russians are Edomites, man. So the Lord is at odds with all of these heathen nations, man. Russia is going to get smoked too by Yahweh Shem Yahushua. The Lord is not having pity upon none of these nations, man. When he comes back, he's destroying all of them, man. And the ones that are left alive are going to get thrown into captivity. This is what's coming, right? And it says, and all thine army, horses and horsemen, all of them clothed with all sorts of armor, even a great company with bucklers and shields, all of them handling swords, right? That's going to be them marching through the valley of Jehoshaphat, man. All of these nations together to fight up against America and Israel, right? It said Persia, which is modern day Iran, Ethiopia and Libya with them, all of them with shield and helmets, right? Gomer and all his bands, the house of Togarmah, Turkey, all of these different nations, man, they're all going to come in unison. Right, with the same mindset. EU and NATO, America's allies are going to turn on them. Everybody is going to come together against America, man, and Israel. That's what everything is leading up towards. It says of the north quarters and all his bands and many people with thee, right? It said, be thou prepared and prepare for thyself, thou and all thy company that are assembled unto thee, and be thou a guard unto them, right? The word guard meaning being a protector, man. And that's what Russia is going to be unto Iran and these other nations. So you know that there's going to be, some type of tension increasing between America and Russia, seeing as though the U.S. just did what they did. But like I said, it won't get nuclear till the MOTB is mandated, man. So that's really what we're waiting on. We're waiting on the MOT B. And once that hits the scene, which is coming soon, and then all hell is getting ready to break loose, man. It's coming, So I'm going to get back into this video so we can just finish listening to what it is the guy's saying. But, we're living in some very good times, brothers and sisters, for us that are true believers in Yahweh Shem Yahushua. We're living in wonderful times, man. For the people in the world, they're scared, they're frightened. They don't know what's about to happen, but we do, That's why we're excited, because we know that the Lord is getting closer and closer to returning, man. And it's a wonderful time that we're in and, to be alive, especially believing in the Lord, man. Calling on the true names in the Hebrew tongue, all of those things in which it is the Lord have given us back. It's a wonderful thing to be doing in this time,
Targets and what bombs were used. We expect that the GBU-57, the bunker buster, the massive penetrator bomb, may have been one of those used. Fordo is a nuclear facility inside Iran that is roughly a half-mile deep underneath a rock mountain-like facility that has been said to be the site of a lot of the enrichment capability. Esfahan, believed to be a storage facility for enriched uranium, and Natanz, another part of the nuclear facilities. They have several throughout Iran. It has been long described as a very difficult and tedious effort to go after these nuclear sites, but the U.S. for the first time launching an attack inside Iran. Again, the president.
Right, you heard him. The U.S. launched an attack on Iran, so like I said, it's heating up, man. It's getting more intense by the day, by the hour. I'm gonna go to another precept. Because this is what us brothers and sisters in this truth, and even you that may be new to this truth, need to be doing at this time. Myself, first and foremost, of course, we need to be getting closer and closer to the Lord, man, as possibly as we can, because we know all hell about to break loose here in America, man. It's only a matter of time, man. Blackouts, power outages, all types of different evils, man, is about to stem in the near future, man. And we need to be all prepared spiritually for these times that we're about to step into, man, because this is about to go down, right? This is Psalms chapter 2, verse 12. It said, kiss the Son, right? Meaning our Lord Yahushua, kissing them, meaning you're arming yourself with them. You're getting immersed with them. You're getting, you're getting real. What's the word I'm looking for? You're getting real, I got the word. You're getting real, intimate with the Lord. Basically, you want to be close to him. You want to be praying as much as you can, fasting as much as you can, being in the scriptures more as you can, doing anything to try to just, build up your relationship with him. This is the time to really be doing it now more than ever, man. Right? It said, lest he be angry and ye perish from the way when his wrath is kindled but a little, man, because the Lord is about to bring forth wrath upon this earth, man. Right? And it says, blessed are all they that put their trust in him. And that's what we need to be doing more now than ever, putting all our trust in Yahweh Bashem Yahushua, man, and hoping that we can, escape these said perils and evils that are about to come upon the earth, man. So, yeah, that's pretty much everything I had to say with today's video. Yahweh Ratazai be edifying for you brothers and sisters that come across it. To the next time, I'm going to say shalom to the elect.